Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about, about my birthday or lack of it. Today, celebrated my 53rd birthday, and as usual, no one was around to celebrate it with me. It's funny. Some of you may remember fairly recently I did a video about misconceptions about me, right? And this is tied into to at least some of what I talked about in that video because there's some people out there, that figure, I got all these fans and everything, so I would definitely have to have somebody to spend my birthday with. Well, contraire, that's not the case, not at all. Once again, I think sadly what it is society, we often find reasons to separate ourselves from others as opposed to ingratiating and integrating. And it's terrible that, I have to tell people. Well, I didn't really have to tell people technically, but the thing is, if someone were to ask me, well, what did I do for my birthday? I'm an honest person. I'm gonna tell them, I didn't really do much of anything. There was nobody to celebrate with. Sometimes we get tired of being our own friend. These people. Some people say, well, you have said when people like on social media and stuff, but that's still not the same thing as having someone in the real tangible sense and having somebody right with you. I never even got any kind of, video call or anything to actually feel like somebody was with me in the virtual sense. So I try to explain people, about misconceptions about me, and this is definitely one of them, I believe. Um, the thing is, what sometimes, what's bad is too is that it's not even just about this. It's the fact that there's a number of things negative things that have happened to me simultaneously. I got transit Uranus conjoining my ascendant. It seems like there really hasn't been much of anything good that's come out of this. I keep thinking, well, maybe something, because it is a conjunction, right? A neutral transit. You should have some positive in this. But what's really happening now is just a lot of negativity. Is a lot of uh, I'm hardly getting, the astrology charts have gone down big time. I mean, the fundraiser, hardly anybody's responding to it. And, it could be just a time where, whether you're talking about the universe or the man upstairs, so to speak, is telling you, Eddie, it's time, some modifications and changes are needed to be made. And that's what this could be about. But going back to being alone on one's birthday, this is something where it's really starting to hit home. And I just wish one person, and I don't even mean people just on social media, anybody would have said, hey, Eddie, would I be able to come out and spend your birthday with you? And I don't know, it seems like this is something that should be so simple and it should be so easy, but it's so hard for people. And I understand a lot of it is attributed to people being at a distance from me, right? And people not living, that close to me. But there are people that are within striking distance, that are close proximity to me, that they really could have if they truly wanted to. But this harsh reality is, in life, in many instances, whether it's an interview or whether you're looking for a date or something with somebody, the people generally will find the reasons to say no, sadly, as opposed to yes. People don't want to often go outside their box where they feel comfortable in their setting. They won't come out. I just wish one person could have said, "Hey, Eddie, I really would like to spend your birthday with you, so you're not by yourself." There's some people that will go and they'll tell me something like, "Oh, Eddie, no one's really alone." Well, it's funny that the people that generally say that, they have a significant other, they have family, they have people in their lives, they have people in the real world that want to do things with them, that respect them, that want to have activities with them. The funny thing is, you remember when that show on America's Most Wanted was on? I joke, I say, I'm like America's Most Unwanted. Why don't they put me on a show, right? Put me on a reality show. One of the men that people don't really want. It's nice when, people write me. The main time people write me lately is when they want some kind of, astrological insight in their chart. I think at some point I'm going to have to make some kind of post on my social media page, at least one of my social media pages, and say, hey, look, not going to be answering any more questions. So people, are want to connect at their convenience, and it's not about really wanting to know me. And it's a shame that it's got to be like this. Um, I tell people too. People will, was it renowned actor Matthew McConaughey made a statement one time that said something like, life is never going to be fair. You know, I mean, it's a little easy for him to say that being who he is in his celebrity status, but you could say all these things and be the philosopher when you're in that stature in life. But he does have a point. Um, the thing about it is, I know for a fact there's people, as far as men go, that have, less character than me, that are, they're not as nice as far as their personality goes. They're not as scrupulous as I am, and they have all kinds of things in their life. And, it gets very frustrating when you see, people that, based on, who they are, and they'll have a lot more like than I do. And I'm just, I couldn't even get one person to spend my birthday with me. And when I say it hits home, it feels like very demeaning and demoralizing. It makes me feel like I'm not even worth anything. And I have, I was telling you before, I've had a number of things that are negative that are happening to me, all at once: the diminished viewership, the chart, the astrology charts, having been, diminished, and having also, the fundraiser, hardly anybody responding anymore. And it's just a lot of, and then, losing, for me, it's getting harder to maintain where I am, and I'm trying desperately to find some place. Nobody, the Colorado video I made, we got very little response to that. And it's almost like we just try to do what we can to avoid people, and to avoid, to make things less on a person and not more positive. Why do we have to do that? Last time I checked, I'm a pretty good guy. I'm not out hurting anybody or anything. I try to help people out, when they have, astrological questions, pertaining to their charts. I try to answer, some of them. I don't answer everybody, because, to be honest with you, sometimes I just get tired of receiving these inquiries, because it'll be, and for some people, it'll be the only time in which they contact me. I just wish, I think it's been about, it might be close to a year since somebody actually wrote me and said, "Hey, Eddie, are you okay? How's your living situation?" And, it's just funny how, I guess, sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind. I guess people might forget, certain things. They might have, maybe because I've been in this situation for a good time period, that they just assume that everything was, honky dory or whatever, and everything was okay. But that's far from the truth. And to have to deal with this, and to be alone again, another day is just going to go, this day is just going to go right by, just like all my other days in recent time. And there'll be nothing will have happened. I'll just be, I'll be making my astrology videos, getting diminished viewership. People say, Edwin, you're really appreciated and this and that. But I'll tell you one thing: based on the viewership, that appreciation is less than, I can tell you right. It only takes one click to hit a video, and it's almost like people are just, it's too problematic for some people just to actually go to a video and just look at it just for a little bit. I mean, people can't be that busy. But I think what it is too is that people, a lot of, I do understand that in some cases, that, people aren't going to look at a video unless it specifically pertains to him or her. And if it's not relevant, it's not something that is affecting them. Like, say, if I'm doing one of those Sinistry, videos, which I was averaging like 70 or 80 views each on them, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Eddie, you're doing this for 11 years practically. I mean, that's ridiculous. But, and maybe at some point I might have to just stop doing the astrology videos. Now, don't misconstrue this. I didn't say I will definitely, but I might stop doing them at a sooner point in time than I originally anticipated, because I'm not going to be doing this, and not get any, reciprocation in terms of, getting the views. I mean, I got to at least get certain viewership. I mean, I'm doing this to, so people can assimilate information, but at the same time, if I'm not getting many people watching them, it's just a waste of time making them. So, the thing is, this will be, again, another birthday going by with nobody around, to celebrate it, sadly. And I just, I don't understand, why, people over time, and I guess as the internet has become more popular over the years, people have become more cold and callous. And I've sensed sadly that as a society we've become, collectively more self-protective, more about self-aggrandizement. We're less about other people. We don't understand, as long as it seems like for a lot of people, as long as they have their stability, they're able to have their home, they have their family, their friends, their enjoyment, let's just forget about everybody else. And it's really not the way to be. Here I am, the days keep going by and by, and I just ask people to actually physically be part of my life. And it's really, the reality is hardly anybody wants to do that. And I'll probably never understand that completely. It might have something, as far as from an astrological standpoint goes, it may have something to do with my chart. I do have a preponderance of planets on the bottom half of the chart. I have Saturn in the 12th house, which certainly doesn't help matters. So, I understand Saturn in the 12th house can indicate a person has trouble letting people into their life, and can give some secluded, reclusive type tendencies. And I do understand how that works, and some of it does fall on me, that I need to be a little more outgoing and try to reach out. But the thing is, I mean, when I look back and I have, all the people that have viewed my videos over the years, and you have the subscribers and the friends on social media, it just seems like one person could have offered to say, hey, Eddie, you know what, maybe I could let's at least talk. Maybe I could somehow spend my birthday with you. And even if they could have, done it somehow through, even if it was through a virtual way, through like on a video chat or something. But, I think we're a little bit timid, again, to go, not to be redundant, but as a society, we find ways to be afraid, to not ingratiate, to not integrate. We're more about separation. Sadly, even religion divides people. Politics has divided people. The coronavirus is a reason for division. And instead of unifying, it's just so frustrating. We gotta separate, and people gotta suffer because of that. People, the good, well-meaning people like myself, that just are looking for some kind of friendship, and whether it would be a platonic connection or a romantic one, whatever it might, or a combination. And it's just, here we go again, and I just, it's at a point where there is times now, I was thinking about not, just getting away from social media, because, what's the point? I just wanted, it's terrible that things have come to this. In social media, sadly, what happens is you wind up seeing people on there with photographs and seeing their enjoyment and how ebullient they are, and you see how they're prospering in their life, and what it does, it just causes more despondency and sadness on my part. I'm happy for my friends that are flourishing and what have you, but what's terrible is that when I see that, though, unfortunately, it's a reminder of the things I don't have in my life. And again, I mean, you could tell my background. I'm not looking for a palace or anything, have $1 million. I'm just looking for, at this point, maybe to have, a little better, a more affordable place to stay, and have somebody, have a few more people that are there for me and truly care. And it seems like those things, become almost insurmountable. And then to have one person celebrate my birthday with me, where that should not have been a challenge, but unfortunately, I guess it has become one for me. And my grandma told me, God rest her soul, one time, said, Eddie, it's not about the quality of the person you are. When I was looking for a job, she told me, I don't remember her exact words, it's about your credentials and your experience, what you have. And I have to remember, that may apply to other things as well. A lot of things, sadly, are not about the quality of a person. It's where we are in our stature in life, and that's where you're, suffering right now. And that's really basically what I want to get at. And maybe next year, somebody will be out there for me, and reach out and say, hey Eddie, maybe I could spend, the birthday with you, because this is just really, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm infuriated. I feel like I should have had somebody today, for God's sakes. Excuse my language, Jesus, but really, please. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, it would not kill somebody to have offered, to have, be there for me today. And it makes me, when things like this happen, it makes me not want to do anything for anybody. And that's how irritating this can be. Um, but anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment. And until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.